I know how I want it to be, but sometimes, of course, there's so many influences in your surrounding, depending on your environment. Of course, a few things here and there will kind of collide with you at some point. But I know what I want to do. There are challenges, but I always know that this is the kind of music I want to do, and if at all there's anything that's going to change, it's going to change this much. There's one thing that always most people who are successful say, and it's kind of cliche, but it is what it is. Like, there's no shortcut for it. Like, you might say he's saying that because he's already made it, but you just don't know what he went through to be able to get to where he is, and that's just constantly putting in the work. Like, I don't think anything just happens overnight. It took me so much time to learn how to play the guitar. Yeah, and right now I'm learning how to play the ukulele. But it's kind of the same at the guitar. There's no much struggle there. But like, when you put in so much effort into something, it becomes so normal. Like, it becomes permanent. Like, I remember one of my aunties, she usually says that practice makes permanent. Yeah, and that's just true. Like, I don't think there's any shortcut for anything that you're doing. You have to lay out a path and set the goals that you want to achieve, and know how you want to achieve each and every goal there. So if you have that laid out for you, the process is very interesting, because you'll have lows and highs, and those are what makes up the whole journey, your whole journey. Yeah, that's what makes up success, because as they say, that success is not a destination but a journey. So yeah. To some extent, yes, it depends. I mean, according to my opinion, yeah, because like, I wouldn't say that I'm at the same level that I was when I started. Because when I started, I was just, I could do shows for anything, even for free, regardless, because I just enjoyed doing it. Then it gets to a point where you want to start considering stuff like, your equipment, your transport, the band, if you have a band, how you want to get to the venue, and also just to sustain yourself. So there are different shows, because for me, how maybe I get income from the music side is I perform. I do live gigs and concerts. So if I do a concert, we have a contract. We know how much I'm being paid and stuff. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes just do it for.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, but of course, it gets to when you become successful, your shows will definitely be. So maybe I can only give it according to my experience. Of course, you know the value of what you're offering. If what you're offering is good, there's a price range that you'll be confident to charge, because you know that you're not going to give anything less. Also, depending on your status quo, like your level as a musician, like where you are as a musician, because mostly I interact with musicians who are kind of on my level or above, kind of. So we learn from each other, and I learn from them, like, if they're doing this event, how much are they going to charge? And I use that as a guide to know how much I'm going to charge for a particular concert. Yeah, so that I don't undercharge and also I don't overcharge. Being a youth is advantageous because you have the energy and the zeal to push and any obstacle that comes your way, if you're focused, you'll be able to, overcome them because you have that energy to do that thing over and over until it's perfect. But then with age, with the older people, working with the older people, you realize that there's no pressure because they've understood themselves. They know what works and what doesn't. So they have like this precedent where things that work are just there, they work, and things that don't work, they don't even bother themselves with. So they know if it's a gig, they know what you need, they know what you don't need. If it's maybe regardless of whatever project you're doing, there's just some sense of experience that they have that you wouldn't think that way because their mindset is different. They don't think the way you think because they were where you are at that particular time, and they kind of know how to navigate all through these things. So working with the older and very smooth. Yeah, and working with the younger people is nice. It's also very nice because things get done really quickly. People know, they're willing to do whatever it takes. Even if it's a wrong thing, they'll learn at the end of it, but whatever it is that's put before them, they're able to accomplish whatever it is. So in high school, in Kisumu, we had one of our neighbors used to play in a band, and he had an acoustic guitar. And yeah, this one is an acoustic guitar. So he had an acoustic guitar, and there's a day I was walking from school. I just shukada matatu and I was walking back to our house, and I saw him getting into the gate with a guitar on his back. It wasn't a guitar bag, it was a guitar, but then it had a strap, and he was just holding it with the strap here. And I walked, followed him until he got to his house, and then he looked at me, he was like, Madaya. And then I was like, yo kitu ni poa. Okay. Utakuja kesho uone, sahi ni late because it was in the evening. So I went back to our house, and then the next day, it was on a Friday. The next day I went to his house.
You went?
Yeah, I went to his house, yes, because I used to live in the next compound. And he had like the house, they had like the main house and then like an SQ, but he was the firstborn. He wanted to seclude himself from the main house and live in there. So he was living in the SQ place with his guitar things and everything. So I went and knocked the main house. Somebody opened the doors like, there's a guy who plays guitar. I was like, oh, he's coming. Then he walked through, came. I was like, yani umekuja seriously? It's like, I went in, and then he started playing, and then he showed me the strings, like, oh, this is E, A, D, G, B, E. And then I was like, okay. Sawa. So hizo ndo names za strings, sawa. Then he just used to teach me without me touching that guitar. Not even teaching me necessarily. He was just playing, and he used to allow me to be there when he's playing. Yeah. So I just watched until the time when I finished high school, and he let me touch it. Finally. And then I played it. His name is Aizo. He let me touch it. I played it kidogo. Kwa ground it was quite different. It was a bit different because like when you see him playing and switching between chords, it looks easy, and then when you start, you play, and then when you want to switch, like 10 seconds later, you're still putting your hand on the other string, trying to figure out how to put this one on the other. It was quite a struggle. And then after some time, we moved to a different place, so I didn't have access to a guitar. But then I met another friend of mine who had a guitar. His name is Mark. And Mark was such a great guitarist at the time, and he was my age mate. So we used to relate well. So he's actually the one who at least lent me his guitar, and I used to go with it at home and then just try and figure out things by myself until I learned how to play. Yeah. So this is just one thing. Like when I was learning the guitar, after some time I was really stagnant because I used to tell myself, I can't play those songs because they are so difficult. But then I started thinking, then what is going to happen ndio nikuwe able kuzicheza? I mean, there's nothing. The only thing you can do is just to start playing. So in that moment I was like, yeah, there's nothing I'm waiting for. Let me start learning those things. And then I started learning how to play bar chords, and fusing a little bit of jazz chords and learning a few things here and there. At the time, I didn't have YouTube. I used to listen to the song and then I try and play. I started using YouTube actually when I joined campus, because I was like, hey, there are some chords there that are sounding funny. I don't know how to play them. Yeah. That's when I started to know at least the theory bit of it and understand how voicings and chord works usually work. Yeah. I guess maybe nowadays people are usually so much fixated into getting to the destination like really fast and quickly. Yeah, like getting to the. I mean, I don't know if it's possible, but if you're able to do it overnight, it's going to be very hard to sustain yourself there. So just believe in that journey, because that journey is what builds you and makes you who you are. No, so this song, I didn't write it entirely. So one of my very close musical friend, his name is Odongo Langi. There's a day he was sleeping over at my house, and he was up by, I think it was like 5 a.m. He was writing this song. Then I woke up because I was hearing somebody playing in the living room. Then I went and sat there. I was like, hey, I'm trying to write this song. Like you can think of back in the days when people used to go to Chiro. Like that's a market. Chiro is a market. And guys used to do barter trade. So what used to happen is, if you have, let's say, a sack of grain and you need something in return.
You were there during those
I wasn't there, but I know how it goes. I read a little bit about history. So there used to be barter trade, and back then people used to be accompanied by their parents, So there's this guy who is a woisiro. Woisiro is basically like how would I describe it? Like a man of nyadi, like a flamboyant man who's hardworking, and he just has some sense of respect that's gravitated towards him just because of how he conducts himself. Yeah. So this guy goes to the market and sees this beautiful girl, and he can't do anything because back then parents used to be protective of their children. Before you give out dog or cattle for the bride price, the dowry, then you can't do anything. So he was just there stressed out just thinking about this girl. And so the song is based on what happens after he meets the girl. It doesn't mention the girl anywhere. It just mentions what he's going through. He's just thinking about basically. So yeah, that's pretty much about the song. Wuoi siro ang'o midwaro mondo konyi. Bang' chiro imedo paro negi. En singo maneno mano mako dhogi. Ichalo winyo makutho goyo negi. Ichalo winyo makutho goyo negi. Wuoi siro bang' chiro ichalo winyo. En singo bang' chiro koyo negi. Wuoi siro bang' chiro ichalo winyo. En singo bang' chiro koyo negi. Wuoi siro akomo kakwe. Wuoi siro akomo kaodheru. Wuoi siro dhok chamo bel e puodho. Ichalo winyo makutho goyo negi. Ichalo winyo makutho goyo negi. Nang'o yawa wuoi siro bang' chiro ichalo winyo. En singo bang' chiro koyo negi. Wuoi siro bang' chiro ichalo winyo. En singo bang' chiro koyo negi. Gima jano pacha wuoi siro. 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 Wuoi siro. Wuoi siro bang' chiro ichalo winyo. En singo bang' chiro koyo negi. Wuoi siro bang' chiro ichalo winyo. En singo bang' chiro koyo negi.